Hello my bunnies, it's Sticky Strinkus here, and today I have for y'all another polymer clay tutorial. Today we are going to be making Sammy Lawrence from Chapter 3 of Bendy and the Ink Machine. If you've ever played the game, it's a really good, iconic game made by the Meatly Corporation, and the actual creator, his name slips my mind at the moment, but he is a really amazing game maker, obviously. And I've made a few other sculptures from Bendy and the Ink Machine series back in like 2017 when it first came out. I hadn't made anything in a while, but this was a request by the person's name, who I'm going to put right here. And they wanted me to make Sammy Lawrence, so I went on ahead and made a little Sammy Lawrence sculpture. And I won't lie, this was actually super fun to make. I hadn't made Bendy and the Ink Machine stuff in a while. So I really like this. Really quick, one disclaimer before we go into the tutorial. Well, number one, obviously this isn't my art. It's the Meatly Corporation and the creator of the game, whose name, again, escapes me. In the tutorial, I'm going to show you the color clays I need at the very beginning, but I put white as one of the colors I needed, but white is not it. You do not need white. You only need tan and black. That is it. I accidentally made his face in white color. As you can see here, thinking of the original Bendy. But, you know, it depends on what style you see the game. Sometimes you see him in black and white. Sometimes you see him in tan and white. But I made his face in black and white, and then I realized after looking at more reference photos more closely, his face is tan, not white. It's just some of the photos made it look white. So I scraped his face off halfway through, already gluing it. And lo and behold, I fixed him nice and perfect. Alright, we're going to go ahead and go into this. I hope you guys like this video very much. And stay tuned next week for a tutorial of Conquerors from Bad Fur Day. I will give you a little sneaky peeky real quick. Just a little sneaky. I think that's enough. Alright, stay tuned for next week, and I'll see you guys in the tutorial. Bye-bye, my bunnies. Alright, for this tutorial, you're just going to need tan Sculpey and black Sculpey or Primo. Really doesn't matter. We're going to start with the tan color. Sorry, some of these photos might be blurry. I'm going to pre-roll all the balls that I need. And we're going to start with the largest one in the center. And the first thing you want to do is roll this into a very big teardrop shape, like so. It'll be almost 2 inches in length. Then take it and press the fatter end against your work surface like so that it'll be flat on the bottom. Then tilt it back on its side and cut it about, it's not halfway, it's probably about 75% is going to go back into the back, and you're going to use the little bump at the end. Next, we're going to make his legs, well, his pants legs. So we're going to use these two balls right here, roll these in the very long teardrop shapes. They're a little over an inch, they're pretty much about 2 inches in length. Then you're going to cut the tops off at a bias, one to the left, one to the right, and cut the little circular parts off straight across. Then the parts that are cut at a bias, just stick them onto the torso bottom, and you can blend them in, or you could just press them really firmly. Next, we're going to go on to his axe head, and you're going to use this little ball right here, and you're going to roll it into a chubby teardrop shape. Then get some kind of tool to roll with, and roll it as flat as you can, but still have it workably possible. Mine was probably about 1 millimeter thick, maybe a little less thick than that. Then I cut off the two sides and the front. Then after that, I cut off the little back part, this little square shape off the back, and then cut the little tip to an angle. Next, I use my X-Acto blade to indent the lines that are on the axe head itself. Next, we're moving on to that last ball of clay that we had at the top. And again, you're going to roll this out into a big, flat, kind of oval kind of shape, like so. And you're going to need a long blade or just a really steady hand, and cut out 2 very long, thin strips and 1 teeny tiny one. The 2 strips are going to be his overalls, and the other strip's going to go on the axe, but we'll come back to that later. So now we're going to move on to the black, and just like with the tan, you're going to pre-roll all the balls that you'll need, like so. And we're going to start with the largest one in the center, just like we did with the tan, and also, again, just like we did with the tan, rolling into about a 2-inch long teardrop shape. But this time, press it down very gently with the palm of your hand so it stays domed on the top, but it'll be flat on the bottom. Once you do that, it should look something like this. See how it's round on the top, but it's going to be nice and flat on the bottom. Then get your cutting tool and cut off the bottom and the top nice and flat, like so. And if there's any like hand marks or finger marks, just kind of rub gently with your fingers to get those off, or you can use alcohol later. Next, I stuck it on the body and stuck a toothpick through it for stability. Next, we're going to go on to the head, so we're going to use this ball right here. And you're going to roll this into an egg shape, like so. Then set it against your work surface just like you did with the torso, and press it down gently so it'll be round on the top, but it'll be flat on the bottom. And once you get done doing that, it should look something like this right here. But the flat side is going to be where the head is facing this time, so the round side will be in the back. Just like so, the flat part's facing you. Next, we're going to go on to his shoes. So we're going to use the 2 small black balls in the front, and you're going to roll these out into about 1-inch long teardrop shapes, like so. And then you're going to pick it up with your index and thumb and your other index finger and press it towards you so it makes it into a shoe shape. If you're not sure how to do this, check out any of my previous videos. They go into depth a little bit more on the shoe's shape. My God. Then just cut off the excess with your long blade and stick it to the pants legs. As you see my wooden base here, I made sure it would fit the way I need it to before I completely attached the feet to it. Next, we're going to go on to his arms and hands. The 2 little black balls, I rolled them into 2-inch long teardrop shapes that are very narrow. I pressed them down gently near the front so the hands will be flat. Sorry, this is a blurry picture again. And once they're pressed down gently and flat, they should look something like this. The fronts are flat, but the rest of the arms are still bulbousy. Then just use your X-Acto blade to indent 2 little lines on each little hand so he has little fingers. After that, just like what you did with the legs, cut the tops off at a bias, one towards the left, one towards the right. And this part may seem a little confusing, but just pick the pose you want the arms to be in. And I picked this grasping pose for the axe. And just bend the arms accordingly and glue the hands to the toothpick and the arms to the body. Next, I went on ahead and put the little pieces on his overalls and the piece on the axe. Next, this is where you get the tan clay back out, not white, tan. Don't mess up like I did, but I'm going to show you in the white because I didn't re-record the tan part. I rolled it into about an 1-inch long ball in diameter, and then I rolled that out nice and flat. Then to make it nice and even around the edges, I cut it into a more perfect circle shape. As for the thickness, don't make it too thin or it'll just fall apart. Then I used this semicircle shape to cut out the top part of his little pointed horns. Then I just took the X-Acto blade and went around the top so you could kind of like gut that little shape out. Then I made sure it looked alright on his head, like so, to where it doesn't show too much of his actual head in the back. And then I went on ahead and took it back off before baking, and now we're going to go ahead and bake. If you're baking with a gas oven, 350 degrees for 12 minutes, or an electric oven, you're going to do it for 9 minutes at the same temperature. And I put a piece of wood under his hands for stability, or you can use tinfoil. Next, I'm going to paint the base while he's cooking in the oven. I just took black paint and just spotted it on like ink spots. I think it just gives it a really nice effect. Next, I went on ahead and took glue, and I glued, this is after it's baked, I glued on the axe head. Now we're going to go back to this space I was talking about. Again, it's tan color, it's baked now. We're going to get a pencil, and we're going to sketch all the stuff that we need on it. I use lines to keep in track where the eyes and the mouth needs to be. You can just erase that after you paint all the details on. Then I just booped a little black and kind of spreaded it out from there with my little dotting tool. And it looked like this, nice and perfect. I hadn't realized I messed up yet. Then I took black paint and I painted up his outfit using a reference photo with all the ink splotches and details he needed. Just like this. Again, use a reference photo in the other tab. It will save you so much problems like I've had to do. Sorry about that, that's my phone. Then I went on ahead and glued it to his body, and then I realized I messed up. So I had to pull it off, and let me tell you, Loctite glue is the hardest thing on the face of the planet. Then I remade the face and re-glued it on, and now you're ready to glaze it. And I always do at least 2 coats of polyacrylic floor varnish, and you're done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, my bunnies.